Welcome to Living Under New Mexico Skies, brought to you by Parnall Law. In this episode, we meet Dr. Nick Ferenchak, inventor of Not Allowed, a patented vehicle noise camera that uses a sound level meter to ticket loud vehicles and motorcycles. And I bet you didn't know that just about every county, city, and town in New Mexico has a vehicle noise ordinance on the books. But hey, even if these jurisdictions decide to enforce these laws, how are they going to prove that your vehicle is too loud? Well, Dr. Ferenchak believes he can accomplish this through reliable automation. And he's on a mission to bring peace and quiet to your community. Hey, Nick, welcome to Living Under New Mexico Skies. It's a real pleasure to have you in here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Hey, tell us a little about yourself, man. Where are you from? Kind of how did you get into the whole engineering field and, kind of what led you to where you are today?
Yeah, I'm actually originally from Pennsylvania. Been studying engineering for probably about 20 years now. Wow. Got to New Mexico as I met my wife, and she was born in New Mexico and kind of followed her out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been at UNM, professor in the civil engineering department for about 8 years now. I've focused on transportation engineering primarily, so everything from counting cars and thinking about congestion on our highways to actually designing the roadways themselves, thinking about how pedestrians get across the road, where do bicyclists fit in, all that kind of thing.
So you're one of those guys who has the black hoses across the street?
Yep, yeah, we've got a set of those in our lab that the students can take out and gather some data. Yep, so
yeah.
That's us.
That's very cool. I always see it on my bicycle. I'm always like, I must have counted for something. I don't know when I go over those. So tell me, I saw in your Vita, in your title, what is a PE?
PE is professional engineer. Licensed through the state of New Mexico.
Very cool.
Focused again on transportation engineering.
Okay. Yeah, well, very cool. Well, what was the inspiration? Okay, so the way I met you online and found you was through something called Not Allowed, and we'll get into more details here, but what was the inspiration or the genesis for that product, for that project and that creation?
Yeah, so Not Allowed and the noise cameras came about 8 years ago. Okay. So I've been focused on transportation engineering and a big focus on safety. So I've worked with red light cameras and speed cameras. Yeah. And really the genesis of the noise cameras was right here in Albuquerque. When we first moved to town, we were right next to UNM, actually living right on University Boulevard. The house is probably 8 feet off of University Boulevard, and 5 times a night, every night, the loud cars rattling the windows, waking us up. And I said, that's not right. And lo and behold, I looked at the ordinances, and it is not right. It's actually against the law. So we said, well, why isn't this being enforced? It's already on the books. That's the difficult part.
Right.
So, my background in transportation, speed cameras, red light cameras kind of came to mind, and said, well, why don't we have noise cameras?
Very interesting. And we'll get into a little bit more about that, about enforcement and identification before your sound camera. But I've noticed there's a weird thing that happens, having lived near major highways like Route 25 up in Santa Fe, and then here in town, I'm in Old Town. Certain atmospheric nights or days, you can hear 40. Like this drone, and then other days you don't hear a thing. And I'm trying to figure out if it's moisture in the air, what is it? Is it the wind blowing from the north? I don't know.
Yeah, it's moisture, cloud cover, wind. Yeah, it's all the above. Yeah, noise is complex. We can talk more about the technology.
Yeah.
I think we've got a pretty solid case whenever we gather evidence. But yeah, versus speed cameras where you're just shooting out basically a laser.
Right.
It's bouncing back and you can get the speed. It's pretty straightforward. Whereas noise is more complex.
Yeah.
And one thing I'd mention is there's kind of 2 parts of road noise. We've got the general hum of the highway, which is not necessarily against the law, but then the exceptionally loud vehicles, that's really what we're aimed at with the noise camera.
Thank you. Yeah. Because like you, I've been woken in Old Town multiple times. Middle of the night, usually 2 or 3 a.m. And in my mind now, what I think is, okay, one, do you want to be that annoying on purpose? Or I have compassion, are they broke? Are they trying to get up enough money to replace their exhaust system? So
we've gathered a bunch of data at this point, and I would say 98% of the folks that are making that noise are doing it on purpose. There are some vehicles that you can tell, the muffler fell off and they're trying to get it to the garage or whatever. But yeah, most are doing that on purpose.
Understood.
Yeah,
I went for a bike ride once and I parked my vehicle at the Montano rail runner station on a Sunday morning at dawn. Came back a couple hours later. It's a long story, but unfortunately got hit head on in my bike by a car.
Oh, geez.
But after I got a VR and got back to my vehicle, I started it up, and I went, what the? They had stolen my catalytic converter on a Sunday morning in the middle of nowhere up there. And I'm like, who in the hell would have taken that thing at 6 a.m., on a Sunday morning? And so you're right. I was in that 2%.
Oh, so. Yeah, and there's other vehicles that will trigger our noise cameras. An ambulance drives by with its sirens on, a dump truck or trash truck or whatever doing legitimate work. So there's vehicles that make noise and need to make noise, but then there's some that are just trying to be annoying.
Trying to be annoying. So without getting into your patent and your, I don't want to get into the nuts and bolts, for protecting anything with your device, but how does it work? I mean, right now we're speaking in some microphones, pretty complex, Shure mics with condenser, the whole thing. We've got, are you using a traditional microphone? Is it something else that you're using to detect that sound level?
Yeah, so it's a microphone, and really the meat and potatoes is what's called a sound level meter. So it's not even recording the audio, it's actually just recording the decibel level. And that's kind of the heart of the whole system. So the noise cameras, when they're out there on the street, they're constantly measuring decibel level. And 99% of the time, there's no loud vehicles, nothing gets recorded. But when that decibel threshold is surpassed, then it triggers a number of different captures. So we've got a license plate camera. We can ID that license plate of the vehicle as it drives by. We've got a wide-angle camera that we can see everything else that was going on in the environment at the time of the capture. And then we do have a traditional microphone where you can actually hear the audio. So we can hear, was it a muffler, or was it a gunshot, or was it a leaf blower that triggered the camera?
Interesting.
And then we've actually got what's called a microphone array that can actually... It's a number of different microphones, and based on when the sound hits the different microphones, it can actually localize the noise source. So when you're thinking about looking at a street, you can tell, was that noise moving east to west? Was it moving west to east? Was it moving somewhere else completely and wasn't even on the street?
Right. And I know from my experience, driving different types of vehicles over the years, there's a difference between going downhill and coming uphill. Because when you put load on an engine, a lot of times sometimes that volume will go up. So that's really cool.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So what is the decibel, the level? Okay, a couple questions. I remember years ago at a famous Who concert, they equated the volume at the Who show in Ohio to the sound of a 747 taking off or something, But that was like for an hour show. What's on the books for what's the decibel level that's something you could be fined for?
Yeah, so I guess we can discuss different ways that the cities and counties and states are dealing with this. But in my opinion, the best ordinances are the ones that actually have a decibel level. And generally, the decibel level is about 80 decibels.
Okay.
That is the legal limit, measured at about 50 feet from the lane that you're analyzing. So that would be I always struggle to compare it to anything, but it's loud enough that when that drives by, you're going to look and say, oh, wow, that was not just a normal vehicle.
You read my mind. You know, in preparation for this conversation, I actually looked up, do you know what the loudest animal in the wild is?
Oh, I do not know.
This is interesting, man. I had to find this. 114 decibels.
Oh, wow.
A lion can be heard 5 miles.
5 miles. Okay. Yeah.
On the Serengeti in Africa.
Oh, wow.
Think about that. I mean, that's I was like, okay, that's kind of an interesting one. So, but yeah.
Yeah. The vehicles that are surpassing the legal threshold, like I said, most of them are doing it on purpose.
Right.
So
right. They want to be loud.
Yeah. So these are not just stock vehicles off the line.
Yeah.
So most of these aren't just making 80 decibels right at the legal threshold. A lot of them are far surpassing that. So, I mean, we've gotten 90, I think even, I don't know if we've ever hit 100, but I think we've gotten close to 100 with some of the motorcycles out there.
My God.
And when you're getting up into that range, then that's like rattling your windows loud.
That's
which
incredible.
Is, yeah.
Yeah, I was actually, it's funny, without even thinking, okay, I'm going to be talking to you this week. I think it was over the weekend. I have a rooftop patio in Old Town. I was just kind of looking out, and because of the River of Lights, there's a huge line of cars. And, well, 2 guys on, large bikes decided for fun to just kick it. And I went, and all I kept thinking is, Dr. Ferenchak, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a number of different cases why this is such an important issue.
Yeah.
Health-wise, it can cause hearing damage, stress, heart disease, all kinds of things.
Heart attack, stroke, if you get hit with a sound that loud, unexpected. It's funny you said that because I've seen people walking down the street and, without being melodramatic, I've seen senior citizens walking down the street or someone pushing a stroller and some guy kicks it. And you have to say to yourself, oh, come on.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to do that.
Yeah, and when you live near these streets and it's constant, your stress levels are just always higher. And
oh my God!
Sorry if I'm bringing things up for it.
Yeah. You're right. But okay, so let me ask. You've created this product. You guys obviously, did some beta testing on your own. But then, have you done any testing with municipalities like Albuquerque, or where you were able to go out and actually install it on the street?
Yeah.
Not to enforce any, fines or laws, but just to kind of see, is this working?
Yeah, we've run several what I would call pilot programs.
Got it.
We have not gotten to the point where we've actually issued citations. That's the end goal, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
So we have worked on Lead and Coal Avenue here in Albuquerque.
Okay.
We've installed in Santa Fe. We actually did a little project up near Tesuque.
Really? Interesting. Huh.
And Los Ranchos we've also installed. I think I'm forgetting one. I think there's one more. But so we've had a number of different installations.
Yeah.
And we've talked to probably about 75 cities across the U.S. at this point that are interested in this. But it just has not taken off. And I think the reason for that, I think the technology's there. I think it's legally people are figuring out how is this going to work once somebody contests the citation, what's that going to look like in court, and I think that's kind of the question all the cities are kind of like held up on.
Oh, that's the big discussion point I wanted to have with you. I mean, and this you may have some of these thoughts and answers already or not, but I how were speed cameras initially? Because I know in Santa Fe we threw them out. And then Mayor Koss at the time brought back vehicles where they parked the vehicles with the camera in the back window. They were going to install them like most cities, so it would get you at intersections or whatever, and they opted to do that. But what is, what's the not the temperament, what's their threshold? What are these police departments and cities considering, with this? You're right, the technology's there, but is it going to upset the population? Is it going to upset people that they're going to then, or not pay their fines and say, screw you, I'm not doing this?
Yeah, I think it's fundamentally different from red light cameras and speed cameras, whereas as a transportation engineer, we design our streets so it's safe to drive 10 miles per hour over the speed limit.
Right.
And that's why everybody drives 10 miles per hour over the speed limit.
Thank you. You finally answered that. After decades, I was like, can I really go 9 miles over the limit and not get in trouble?
Yeah, if it's got a 35 mile per hour speed limit on it, the engineers have designed it so you can safely drive 45.
Thank
so,
you, Doctor. This is excellent.
But all to say, so speed cameras, red light cameras, right? Those are fairly unpopular because a lot of people do those things. So those would be unpopular.
Yes.
Whereas noise cameras, it's only targeting people who have gone out of the way to modify their vehicles to be exceptionally loud.
Really interesting.
So I really think it's 99.9% of the people out there are going to be happy to have these things installed out in the real world.
Thank you very much. And you know what I'm thinking of when you mentioned Tsuke, that little historic village. Upper Canyon Road in Santa Fe, where there's all the shops and galleries and people walking, and the last thing you want is that happening. Now, real quick, and I'm just going to take a little swerve here. Is I ran this by some friends of mine that do ride Harleys, that do ride loud motorcycles, that do have cars that are, maybe it's a muscle car that they drive only on the weekends. And their only comment was, "Yeah, right, bring it on." You know what I mean? So I can see that there is that barrier to acceptance or approval. So.
Yeah. I mean, up to this, there's been some enforcement every couple years. You mentioned Santa Fe; they'll do some enforcement. You actually send a police officer out there, and they have to sit there, pull somebody over. Wow. It's just unsustainable. But I mean, basically, there's been no sustainable, permanent enforcement out there. So people kind of are like, "Yeah, sure, I'll believe it when I see it."
Yeah. Well, this is an interesting one. And given now that I work at Parnall Law, I guess I have a different perspective on it because, we're always looking for when people are wrongfully hurt or injured, So I know that a lot of times people would say, well, the reason they're going after speeders is they need some revenue. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or the reason they're doing this is because, well, no. I mean, there are safety issues with blowing red lights. The old joke in New Mexico is don't be the first or the last in the intersection. But then, too, this one just seems like it hits at a different level because we're talking about annoyance, And it's not necessarily they want to generate revenue. It's like, hey, buddy, seriously, man, tone it down.
I'd bring up 2 points for that. Number one, there's a ton of detriments to road noise. We mentioned the health issues before. There's also issues with kids in school not being able to concentrate. There's the economic issue of if you've got an office next to a busy road and you're constantly being distracted.
Yes.
The economics there. If you own a restaurant right on a busy road, nobody's going to want to go there because it's not peaceful and enjoyable.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of economic arguments to make for this issue as well. So I'd say no, it's not just a revenue generator for the cities. There are very legitimate issues.
That's really good.
And then for me, yes, the citations would be coming into the city, but if the city makes sure that money goes back to the community, then it's clear that it's not just some revenue generator making money. This is actually solving an issue, and then yes, we're reinvesting it in the community to make safer streets or more walkable communities, or reinvesting in businesses or whatever the city does. But as long as they're transparent with that, I think that's.
I really like that, and I like it because what it does is you're right. You build the case that makes it. It's almost like how can we say no if we built that case? I love it. I love it. It's like pedestrian safety. And bicycle safety. So what do you think, U.S. versus international? I don't know if you guys have thought about or looked, or from your experience, even with just highway safety. Do you think there are international markets or cities like say, Amsterdam or somewhere that may say, yeah, you know what, we don't like noise, but I don't even know. I've been to Europe. I've been to Japan. I don't recall there being super loud vehicles roaring around.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I think we're a little bit behind in the U.S. with this issue of enforcing road noise.
Right.
The one other competitor that's really out there for these noise cameras is actually coming out of the UK, they've they're a little bit ahead of us in terms of implementation because Europe has been quicker to implement. So they've implemented in London originally and then Paris, and these European cities were quick to say, put them up. We're going to start issuing citations.
Wow.
Very quick, whereas U.S. cities have been, we're interested, but now we've been at this for 7 years, and they're still just interested and not really willing to go out there and actually issue citations and see, does this stick? What happens?
Yeah, this is fascinating. I mean, I guess Mini Coopers, can be pretty loud, with a header on it or something, but. That's fascinating. Yeah, I was curious about that one. But I can see here in the U.S., I mean, you're right. I mean, God, think about the hot rod capitals. You know what I mean? It's Route 66. New Mexico's been known as that place for, free spirit driving. There's places in SoCal, I think, the same kind of approach. So
yeah, that often gets brought up in New Mexico, the lowriders. And I mean, from my perspective, I've been down at the plaza and seen the lowriders hanging out, and they're cruising around going 5 miles per hour. They're not making 80 decibels.
They're not. No.
They're cruising. They're just. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I love it. That's absolutely not what we're going after.
No, thank you.
And I'll say we've probably captured thousands of vehicles that are above the legal limit around New Mexico at this point. Wow. We've never once captured a lowrider out on the streets making noise. So take your lowriders to the plaza, show them off. I love it.
Yeah,
but
vintage cars.
Yeah, that's really not what we're
that's interesting.
Focused on here.
I love it. Yeah. So is it? I guess more of a legal or technical question for you is it the city of Albuquerque who would enforce it? Would it be Bernalillo County? Would it be a statewide law on volume? Probably not state because we have so many open spaces. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting point. I feel like that's kind of what's still up in the air. Maybe anybody listening can chime in here as well. Feel free to reach out to me because I'm coming from an engineering background, not a law background.
All right.
But at least for the city of Albuquerque, the city doesn't have a great vehicle noise ordinance. It's actually Bernalillo County that has an ordinance that specifically says you shall not operate a motor vehicle on these roadways and make above 80 decibels. It's very objective, clear.
I had no idea.
They tell you how to measure it, what you can measure. It's the county here for Albuquerque County, Bernalillo County. Santa Fe, it's actually the city. They have a really good ordinance as well that specifically says this many decibels when operating a motor vehicle. So for them, it's the city. To me, those are my favorite ordinances because I can look at the decibel readings that we got and say yes, no. It's very clear cut, cut and dry.
Yeah.
Some other cities are thinking about using the approach of just like general nuisance ordinances, saying this vehicle was a nuisance, but to me that's too subjective. Ask the driver of that vehicle, is your vehicle a nuisance? They say no, I love it. Like that's exactly what I want.
I know, this is why I did it. Exactly.
So what's a nuisance? I feel like legally that's a gray space, whereas these ordinances that say this decibel level, yes, no, it's black and white.
This is a crazy one, and I don't know, maybe this is where it eventually goes after you've been fined a few times. But when I was a kid, a lot of the muscle car guys had a lever on the floor of their muscle car. I know it sounds crazy because there was enforcement about open headers, the volume. And they would swing their exhaust system off when they decided to get on it or race somebody. So I remember that. A couple guys had those.
Yeah, I've heard some of the new muscle cars have switches that you can go from soft to loud.
Yeah.
I would say that's again kind of pointing to the importance of having the noise cameras out there. Some other jurisdictions have integrated noise into like emissions testing and inspections and things like that.
Interesting. So you pull Bernalillo County, you pull in to get tested your emission, and there you are, rumbling.
Yeah, but if you have one of those switches, you could just, or a lot of these guys, I think, just do it in their own home garages. just put on your quiet pipes, take it in for the inspection,
Take off the pipe.
and then take off. Yeah. So that's why it's important to have the noise camera actually out in the field,
Right.
catching them doing it.
I like it.
Versus, trying to have it in a controlled situation where then they can just switch it on or off.
Well, two discussion points, and I'll get to the chicken and the egg question, but I worked for Ford for years on special projects, and this is an interesting one. When they brought back the Mustang, and I don't remember, it was the early 2000s, a young engineer from, I believe, Vietnam, believe it or not, was instrumental in the sound. They gave him the exhaust engineering part of the project. He sampled, maybe you've heard this in the lore, he sampled Steve McQueen's Mustang and Bullitt.
Oh, cool.
And he actually created everything required to digitally then have a switch in the new Mustang at that time where he could hit the switch and make it sound just like, he was racing on the streets of San Francisco and Steve McQueen's Mustang. So there you have it. I know that's out there. So
yeah. I mean, you can have a low rumble that sounds sexy or whatever, and it's not loud.
Not
so I mean, those are two different things. So I'm not against having a nice sounding vehicle, but once it's rattling the windows and waking people up, then it's like that's
okay. So here's the chicken and the egg. It's almost like is it just merely ticketing those guys for that volume level, or is it creating? I love the idea that you brought up earlier about legislation, a law. God knows, last thing people are like, we don't need another law. But it seems like if you backed into solving this problem, where then the camera becomes essential, it's black and white. It's, look, you're just too loud, and here is why we've written this law. You know what I mean? Endangering, rattling the windows, scaring people on the street, just being a general nuisance. It seems like that's probably going to be your solution, is to back into it.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Like I said, when I first came up with this idea for the noise cameras, I looked at the ordinances, and most cities have something on the books already, and it's been there for decades.
Yeah.
To me, from one perspective, legally, a lot of the groundwork has already been done because it's already on the books.
You're already there.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like, this is interesting. Think about it. Fireworks, not just fireworks, loud explosive devices. Firing off a gun in a major city. Okay, there's other issues with that, but you know what I'm saying? I do remember situations where parties got so loud the police showed up and said, turn it down or we're turning it off. You got you guys make the call. So you're right. Yeah. So and your camera seems like it's got such a, like you said, turnkey black and white decision to enforce.
Yeah. A lot of folks, when they think about road noise, they say, well, our city has a noise ordinance. But most noise ordinances are more, like you just mentioned, parties, like land use level things. Like there's a factory down the street from my house that is constantly making this much noise. And that's fairly easy, I should say.
I know.
Relatively easy to enforce versus what we're talking about, because you can just put a sound level meter out in front of that house and say, yep, that factory there that's just sitting there is making too much noise, versus these cars that are making noise. They're there for a second and they're gone.
So I don't know if you have this data or not, but I'm just curious. Have you guys looked at how many noise enforcement tickets or citations or warnings has Bernalillo County, City of Albuquerque? Do you know? Is there, and it doesn't have to be just for cars. Has there been is there anything on the books that you can look at or take, do a count?
I'm not sure. I'm not aware of any actual enforcement for Albuquerque or city or Bernalillo County.
No, there you have it.
City of Santa Fe, periodically, every couple years, they'll send officers out and pull a few people over. But again, once you have an officer sitting there, I mean, there's bigger fish to fry, to be honest, that they can be working on.
Take them off the street. Doing that.
Exactly, which is the beauty of this camera. The camera's sitting there doing that all day, every day.
And that was the whole idea behind red light and speeding cameras.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, come on. Let's keep it safe. So in all my years of getting tickets, for speeding and for blowing whatever, the weirdest one ever was Albuquerque, right on University, I think at Yale. I was pulling up to a stop sign. I forget what I was doing, and an officer was just kind of standing there, just nonchalantly. And he leans into my wife's window and goes, "Sir, would you please pull over?"
Oh.
And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Sir, please pull over now." He goes, "You're not wearing your seatbelt."
Oh.
And I went, and it was my fault, but I went, okay, well, that was a $200 one. But the point is that, so you're right. I mean, I guess they were doing an enforcement that particular day down in campus town, but yeah, the camera would solve it. You don't even have to have an officer out there.
Yeah. And I mean, from police perspective, I think this is good for the police as well, because you have fewer interactions with people, right?
Which can get violent.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I've been there, got those warnings actually in Chicago. Yeah, on such and such date, you rolled the stoplight in Des Plaines Avenue or whatever, and you owe us $200. Pay it, or you're right. Real quick, and as far as enforcement, I worked on Governor Richardson's the helmet safety law back in the mid 2000s. The whole idea was that if a kid under the age of 18 is on anything with wheels, without a helmet, the parent was ticketed and fined. But I don't know if anything was ever issued. You know what I mean? I was in Santa Fe. I look back on it, I'm like, great initiative. A lot of, it was through the brain injury because, there's serious issues. But I don't know if it was ever enforced.
Yep. Yeah.
And this is probably the same thing.
So. Yeah. A law on the books is kind of worthless if everybody understands that it's not actually going to be enforced.
And thank you. You now told me that I can go 10 miles an hour over the limit. Which is not fair. I know. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, man, this has been incredible. I really appreciate it. All the best. We're going to stay in touch because I want to hear how this goes. And several of the people I work with here were really fascinated with what you're doing and how this, because who knows? I mean, we just don't know where this is going to go, but I think it's important. So.
Yeah, thank you. One other thing to mention is that there have been some citations issued in the U.S., specifically New York City. Unfortunately, they've actually been working with the company out of the UK, our one known competitor on this.
Interesting.
So they ran a pilot program for probably a year or two. They were happy with it, and then they actually started issuing citations. And I think they've been issuing citations from the noise cameras for about a year now. I think they've issued a couple hundred, and they've been sticking in court. So it's unfortunate that it hasn't been us, but there is some progress here. And my feeling is that a lot of the other U.S. cities have been interested. They're willing to run pilot programs, but they're kind of like, let's see how this works in New York City when people dispute these citations and they go to court, and what is that going to look like? So I'm hoping that it seems to be working in New York City. I'm hoping that kind of opens some floodgates for some other cities to get out there and start actually enforcing this.
That's really good, interesting news. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to personally check and see. Okay. I'll see what we can do here, with our legal, the people who do some of our research. That would be fascinating. If I can find something tangible or get some results, I will definitely forward them to you. Because, this is our town, man. We're local. And one of the things we talk about at Parnall Law is we're New Mexico, and we're based in Albuquerque, and we have other offices around the state. But the point is, this is our home. And it's annoying.
Speaking of that, it's something that I've always wondered. Is there any recourse for, when something is against the law, it's actively doing harm to the community, it's undisputable, but the powers that be will not enforce that? Is there something that can be done to say, hey, this is illegal, it's on the books, we have a way of enforcing it, we need to actually do this?
Thank you very much. Now,
Thank you.
It's a great question because you know what? You've come to the right place.
That was my one thing I wanted to ask now that I'm here.
I will. I'm not an attorney, but I will ask that question because several of the attorneys here, when I was home, I was meeting with you, were fascinated. They said, we can't wait to hear that episode. And it got their thinking. So that's a really good point. I'm going to look into that.
I'd say most of the roads that we've monitored around New Mexico have averaged about 4 illegal vehicles per hour.
Oh my
And that includes in the middle of the night, waking people up. The worst that we've looked at was Broadway, kind of south of downtown Albuquerque. We picked up 60 illegal vehicles per hour.
Oh my!
At a maximum while we were out there monitoring. It was just every minute a vehicle was driving by that was above the legal limit. Yeah. So this is doing harm to communities.
Whoa.
I
had no idea. No. These are the kind of stats that I love. I'm going to ask about that with the with laws and. Can they scoff them? Can they blow them off? Can they say, yeah, you know what I mean? And find out where that lies. That would be huge. Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yep. Yeah.
And then this, like I said, we're local. We live here. I want to know what we can do.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting tired of being woken up at 2 a.m. Yeah. And I always think to myself, dude, seriously, man, really? And where are you going at 2 or 3 in the morning? With that volume.
Yeah.
So everybody knows where you're going. It's driving down my street.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Funny you mentioned that, and that's near the holidays here. But one of the worst ones that we had was when we monitored up in Santa Fe, pretty close to the plaza. It was actually right around Christmas time last year. I think it was actually Christmas morning at like 2 in the morning. We got some guy, he was just driving up and down the road like 4 times above the legal limit.
Whoa.
You know how many people are there in Santa Fe for the holidays. It's magical. And it's like, come on,
Dude,
Christmas morning?
Seriously.
Like
I know.
Yeah.
See, that then, what you told me earlier, that 98%. Because every once in a while, I kind of go, okay, some poor guy, he's got a night job, he's going to work. He needs to buy a muffler. No, it's not.
Yeah.
4 times on Christmas morning.
Yeah. December 25th, 2 in the morning. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Welcome to New Mexico. Yeah, come on.
Well, Nick, thank you very much, man. This has been really good. And like I said, I want to get you back in here. We want to talk about the bicycle safety. That's a whole nother topic. We'll talk and kind of get that out. But I've got some homework to do. I got to get you some things back. I want to look at that, see if we can get some numbers on New York City, and then also your question about what's on the books with the laws. That's a really good question. Yeah. Can you ignore those and blow them off?
Yeah.
So, well, thanks,
Great.
man. I
really
appreciate
Chris.
it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.